A big mistake I see a lot of home sellers make is investing in their property before they list. Sometimes they're spending 10, 20, 30,000, and quite often this money goes to waste. Today I'm going to break down the 10 home improvements that actually increase your value and also are the things that buyers in today's market are looking for. So in this video, I'm going to rank them for you. So when we're done, you're going to know exactly where to put your money for the biggest bang for your buck. And here's the thing. The number one thing I'm going to tell you is the thing that almost all sellers miss when they're doing improvements for a home before they list. So pay attention. Hey, I'm Riley Smith, and I've been a realtor here in Miami for almost 25 years, specializing in residential real estate. Worked with personally over 1,000 sellers, so I know exactly what home sellers need to do to get their house in the exact position to get the most money in the fastest amount of time possible. So stay tuned, you're going to find out all of my little tricks. So let's start with number 10 and work our way up today. First is going to be the kitchen, because there's a lot of places in the kitchen where sellers can really go wrong. So many times when I'm in a house with a buyer, I can tell that they've decided about the kitchen in less than 10 seconds, no matter how much time and thought the seller has put into it. So we're going to talk about a few tricks and things that we can do to get that kitchen looking perfect for those sellers. So when you're getting your house ready for sale and you're looking at the kitchen, there's so many places where you could spend the money, and a lot of it is really lost. You have the backsplash, the appliances, the countertops, you've got your sink, and you've got lighting. There's all kinds of places where sellers get tripped up. So what I think most buyers are really looking for is really looking at the space and seeing how the spaces work, and also really the size of the counters and how much storage are in the cabinet. Things that I like to have sellers do when they're working on their kitchen is really keep the kitchen as minimal as possible, put away as many of those appliances, and really make sure that first and foremost the kitchen sparkles and is clean. That's the first thing that most buyers are looking for. The second thing they're looking for is how does the kitchen function. This is something in a renovation you probably can't change. The relationship between the stove, the sink, the dishwasher, and the countertop. So that I wouldn't really worry about, and I don't think you should spend a lot of money trying to fix that problem. The third thing is making sure the appliances are all okay. That's where you can spend some money and getting the appliances upgraded, and that might be something that most buyers would probably really appreciate. A big mistake you can make is when you're doing a remodel for your kitchen for sale. It's one thing when you remodel a kitchen because that's what you want and you know exactly how you like it, but there lies the problem. Most people are still going to remodel their kitchen the way they want the kitchen to be, and that means there's an opportunity for a lot of personal decisions to come in, and that's where things can really go wrong. So I really stress, if you're going to remodel a kitchen before you sell, that you talk to a realtor or a decorator and get some ideas that will be neutral and will work for everybody. Quite often I see people bringing in the wrong kind of colors that are not in style anymore because they like those colors, picking appliances because they favor those appliances. Really the biggest mistake I see is the countertop. Countertops are the first thing that everybody sees, and you got to make sure that if you remodel the kitchen and you're doing countertops, you're using ones that are in style today, not ones the homeowner loves themselves. A big question we get asked a lot is sort of what point do we do a full renovation versus just minor upgrades? And really this is a tricky question. If you're not going to fully renovate the entire house, it is my recommendation that you do not do a full renovation of your kitchen, because then you're going to have one part of your house looking one way and the rest still looking like a project. And that in-between area is not something the buyers are looking for right now. I would save on spending a full remodel on the kitchen and make sure you get the kitchen looking as clean as possible, the newest and best appliances that you can afford to put in there, and really minimize everything in there. Maybe put some paint on the walls and look at lighting. These are all little tricks to make it look better without doing a full gut reno on your kitchen. Number 9 on the list is curb appeal and first impressions. This one hits the buyer before they even get out of the car. Quite often they're looking at curb appeal online. They might even be doing a drive-by before they even go to do a showing or show up at an open house. And if you get this wrong, it doesn't matter how spectacular your kitchen or any of your other upgrades are. They will already have a negative impression of the house before they even walk in the front door. I don't think there's anything that affects buyers' mindset more than bad curb appeal. If I pull up with a buyer in the driveway and we look at a house and the gutter is hanging down, paint is falling off, everything in the yard is dead, right away they're already like, what are we doing here? This looks like it's going to be a project. But more importantly, those small little items that are not taken care of in the curb appeal of the front yard signal something to the buyer that perhaps the seller has not been maintaining the entire house. And if this is how the front of the house looks, it's probably how the interior is going to look. And so their mind is already set that this is probably going to be a project, and it may be one bigger than they want to take on. Without question, the best curb appeal things you can implement are paint and landscaping. And they don't cost that much money. A good coat of paint will really change the way people see your house when they pull up. But for me, you have to complement that with nice landscaping. This is where everybody misses. Everybody cuts corners on landscaping. They want to put in the small little plants that don't look right. They don't have a plan. Put a little circle around a palm tree. And then the worst mistake you can ever make on curb appeal is putting that god-awful red mulch in your front yard. So whatever you do, whatever you take away from this video, no more red mulch. But mulch is key. Mulch makes everything look great. Sometimes putting some stone to get rid of the dirt. And let's try to make sure that grass looks as green as possible. These are all things that quickly give the buyer a first impression and quite often can make them have that wow feeling before they even walk in the door. When I'm working with developers especially, I can't emphasize enough with them the power of landscaping. When you see a good house that's got real beautiful mature landscaping and everything in the front is buttoned up, it looks cute, it looks charming, you got window treatments, you got gutters if you have them, they're all straight, the roof is looking good, and the paint goes together. That whole package can add so much value to the home because so many people coming in today don't want to spend any time and energy in the yard, and it also takes a long time to develop a beautifully landscaped yard, and a lot of these buyers are on a very short timeline and they don't have the energy for that. Number 8 is flooring upgrades. This is the one thing that most buyers notice the minute they open the door. And quite often, the first thing I hear them say is the flooring. The flooring. If the flooring is wrong, quite often the house will feel very old. Or if there's 5 different floors that they can see standing in the front door. Depending on which community we're talking about and which neighborhood and sometimes even which street, the flooring materials change a lot. But really right now, we're still seeing people trend towards wood and tile. Certainly wood on the stairs and wood upstairs is the norm. And then some sort of a tile, whether it's a ceramic tile or all different kind of tiles out there. We're not seeing as much of some of the older small tiles. We're looking at bigger tiles, or we're looking at the materials that look like wood but are actually tiles, because obviously those are much more easily maintained. Probably the biggest thing with flooring, and the reason you might want to invest in flooring, is in today's world, nobody wants to see 5 different floors in a house. You've already got a floor in your bathroom, you're probably going to have one upstairs and one downstairs. That's probably the most amount of floors. But when you're going from one room that has carpet to another room that has tile, to another room that has a different color carpet, or all kind of different tiles in the floors, that really gives most buyers an off-putting feeling. And they also immediately think the magnitude of changing all of those floors, because they are really looking for uniformity. And I think the flooring is where it all starts. A question I get with especially older homes and older folks is ripping up carpet. Is it worth it? Yes, yes, and yes. In today's world, nobody, and I'm telling you right now, nobody wants to see carpet. If you have carpet, I highly recommend we get it out of there, we polish the floors underneath or work on the wood if that's what's there, because whatever is under that carpet, I guarantee you, is better than the carpet itself. Number 7 on the list is fresh paint. I'll tell you right now, nothing you can do to your house, inside or outside, will make it look better than a fresh coat of paint. Walk into any house, new or old, and you smell that fresh paint, you immediately think the house has been well taken care of. It immediately gives a sense of cleanliness. And of course, as a seller, you've been living in this house for a long time. You probably don't notice all the little nicks, all the little fingerprints, and whatever's happened to the house. But when it's freshly painted, there's just something magical that happens to buyers when they walk in the door. The other part of that is it's easily the best bang for your buck. To paint your house, just every room gets touched. And when I say paint the house, I really mean go neutral. I don't mean paint the rainbow. We're not looking for pink bedrooms for the princesses and blue bedrooms for the little boys. We are looking for very, very neutral tone colors that allow the buyer to decide how they want to finish the house. But also just bearing in mind that a quick coat of paint, whether you do it yourself or you hire somebody, is absolutely the best bang for your buck. When we're talking painting, I really like to talk about both. I don't think the interior or the exterior has one or the other an advantage. If you can do both, I highly, highly recommend it. But I would say if you can only do one, do the interior, as long as the outside doesn't look like a horror show. I would say probably 80% of the homes I go in could use a fresh coat of paint right before we go to market. There's just something special about it that I can't exactly tell you, but I have seen over the years where buyers really, really appreciate that. Number 6, bathrooms. I would say right behind the kitchen, this is where most buyers are judging what upgrade you have or you don't have, is in the bathroom. And that's where I see a lot of buyers focusing their attention. In the world of real estate we live in here in 2026 especially, bathrooms are one of those places that I see buyers really, really, really off-put by an old, outdated bathroom. Now there's different kinds. You got old and outdated that have meticulously been maintained and they still look sparkly clean, and you can maybe get away with that. But if it's old and outdated and run down, tile is faded, the countertops are cracked and stuff like that, that is a no-go for most buyers right now who don't want to do any projects. So bathrooms are one of the places I highly encourage people to spend money, because I think you get most of your money back in. A mistake a lot of sellers think they can get away with is, let me just make the master wow and forget about the others. Who cares about what the kid's bathroom looks like? Well, that's not how I see it from a buyer's eyes when I'm showing properties. I think if you're going to updo one, you probably should updo all of them. It is not the biggest lift in the world. The master, of course, is going to get you a little bit, but the secondary bathrooms are usually not that large, and you can spend a little bit of time on the paint, get a different countertop or a different sink, maybe a different shower, and you can really have a bigger bang for your buck. But bathrooms are a place I would definitely spend money on houses if I had the opportunity. I think think the best ROI for you on a bathroom is probably looking at the shower. Generally, you have the most tile, have outdated shower curtains, shower rods, shower frames. If you can clean up the bathtub shower area, that's probably your best bang for your buck. Second best bang for your buck is probably putting in new flooring. The finishes are always tricky. It depends really on what price point the house is, of course. If you're looking to sell a very high-end luxury house, then you cannot come back with Home Depot finishes. But if you're looking to sell an average house in an average neighborhood, you certainly don't have to go crazy on the finishes. Just make sure you do a little research and find out what is in style. If you're looking for changing the knobs, changing the handles on the sink, shower head, things like that, those little details, if you find out what's in style, you can also find an economical approach to that and save yourself a little money. Number 5, impact windows. I would say here in South Florida, we're getting to the point where this is almost a non-negotiable for sellers. When we're working with buyers, first thing they do when they walk in the house is knock on the window and see if they're impact, or one of the first questions they'll ask the listing agents, are there impact? Because buyers now, I think, understand what comes with impact windows, right? You have a more energy efficient house. You certainly have a safer house. The biggest problem that we have, which is handling, insurance mitigation and windstorm. So if you don't have impact windows, it is such a negative on a house right now, I can't even begin to tell you. Impact windows and doors do add measurable value. However, that is diminishing as buyers are just expecting it everywhere they go. I don't think it's going to increase the value of your home, but I think it will help you not lose money in your home because you have to be competitive with your neighbors. Most homes in South Florida are getting and trending towards having impact windows and doors. So one of the things people think about when they see impact windows and doors is the energy efficiency of a house. And it's not something that everybody thinks about, but there is a specific group of buyers that are very concerned about their electric bill or about just the environment in general, and they want to make sure the house is energy efficient. Impacting windows and doors are certainly a big part of that puzzle, but the other part is making sure that your HVAC or your AC system is really set to work properly in your home. You can have a too big of an AC or too small of an AC. They can be in the wrong locations. So making sure all that is organized and coordinated, making sure your AC closet is clean and efficient, there's no mold growing in there, that the filters are changed. These are all things that go into a buyer's mind when they're thinking about energy efficiency, and of course the impact windows are a big part of that. Number 4 is outdoor living spaces. Here in South Florida, you're not just buying a house, you're definitely buying a lifestyle, and the outdoor space is very much a part of that. So I don't know about you, but I am very much an indoor-outdoor living person here, even in South Florida, even when it gets hot in the summertime. So having the appropriate outdoor space, I think, adds a tremendous amount of value, especially if they have all the components. They have the outdoor kitchen, they have a lounging area, perhaps they have a spot by the pool where they can get some sun, and then maybe they have a place where they can have a dining room table. But a lot of people want to use the outdoor space as much as possible, and they also want to see it from the inside and make sure that it is attractive and matches the interior of the house. You should be careful about investing in outdoor upgrades. I think you can get away with a little bit maybe less expensive furniture than you would use for yourself, but having a very well-defined outdoor space where a buyer can see exactly how they're going to use it is important, and I do think it's worth spending money there. I think it's still the outdoor kitchen that wins for everybody. It's a hassle to build an outdoor kitchen. Certainly people can go and buy outdoor furniture and replace all of that, but most people don't want to build a summer kitchen. But when you have a fantastic summer kitchen right off the family room or right off the kitchen, I think that adds a tremendous amount of value to the buyers, and it eliminates the buyer's headache of having to go build one themselves. So number 3 is smart home technology, and I want to be totally honest with you right now. In certain price points, some buyers are really expecting it, but not a lot of homes have it integrated just yet. When we're talking smart home features, there's such a wide variety of them, but the most common ones that we're talking about basically are being able to run your house off of your phone or off of a control panel, quite often a Cat 4 system, where I can do everything just by a touch of a button. I can change the window shades, I can lower the AC, I can turn on the music, I can check the cameras. There is a lot that we can do, and of course, don't forget the lighting. There's several different lighting packages you can have, but when I think of smart home features, these are the things that come to mind. Smart home features actually do generally add resale value because it is a giant pain to get a house wired properly after the fact. So certainly in all new construction, you're going to see smart homes now, but if you've done the work and put in all that energy to get a smart home, maybe because that's just what you wanted to use, having that as a resale value compared to most of your neighbors is going to be a massive benefit. The idea for most buyers of putting wires everywhere or running wireless routers or really getting new technology in the house is not something that buyers want to spend when they walk in the door, but they really appreciate when it's already there. But at different price points, buyers have different expectations. There's certainly a price point, maybe $2 million and under, where we're not really seeing a lot of smart homes, but if you have one, you do stand out. But as you raise your price point, and certainly when we get to new construction, we are expecting all the bells and whistles to be there. In today's world, we want to run everything from our phone. We want to turn on the pool, we want to turn on outdoor lights, indoor lights, we want to control the temperature, we want to certainly check our cameras, we want to also be able to play music. These are all things that we want, and a price point of say $5 million and higher, it's almost a must. Depending on the price of your home, there is a line where you have a useful upgrade that makes sense, or you could go crazy and put in all the bells and whistles. And at certain price points, not all the bells and whistles are going to get you the same return. Really, you just got to make sure in a price point where it's expected, I really think you make sure you have it. But if you're trying to put in the most incredible wireless Cat4, whatever system you have into a house that is not necessarily expected or that the other houses around you don't have it, I don't think you get the value back in that case. Number 2 is an open floor plan and layout. Now this is a lot bigger lift, but it can have some massive returns. Today's buyers, and when I certainly compare to 5 to 10 years ago, they really are looking for, in most cases, an open floor plan. It's become the new norm, so that's what they're seeing every time they're going out. If you have a house that has a lot of compartmentalization, like you have the living room has got the certain walls all around it and everything is in its place, you may benefit from just making a few changes and opening up a few things. It makes financial sense sometimes to remove walls, as long as, of course, don't forget you have the right flooring underneath, or you could easily replace the flooring. But what this does is just adds more air, adds more light, and gives the perception of bigger spaces. Again, if you can get away from some walls, I think opening them up can be a big help to a house. And it's not always a big expense. Taking a wall down is a lot cheaper than putting a wall up. There's a big ROI on a layout change, as long as your costs don't get out of control. If you're just taking down walls and maybe replacing a little bit of flooring, and you give that house that new, fresh, open look people are looking for, I think you do get a big bang for your buck there. But of course, you have to worry about structural and other issues that I would not get into if that was the case, because then it would not be worth the energy and the expense. Over the years, I have definitely seen homeowners that have changed and improved the layout, reaping a big reward for that. It's worth talking to your realtor or your designer about, because right now I do feel like there is a big premium on open floor plans, and the more open you can make your home, I think the more appealing and perhaps the more attractive to a buyer, which then may lead to a better price. So here we are, we're at number 1. The absolute most important thing you can do is worry about the condition of your home. And this is one of the things that most sellers overlook, and that's the general overall condition. So if I could just meet with you and spend 30 minutes walking through the home, I could point out a bunch of tiny little things that can be fixed by most handyman and will change the entire feel of your home. When I'm meeting with sellers, I'm really trying to educate them on what are the most maintenance issues that buyers are most nervous about. Buyers, when they're quickly looking around, they don't want to see rotted wood. Maybe there's some water damage or termite damage. They certainly don't want to see gutters that are loose or hanging off side the wall. When they're inside, we talk about painting a lot, but that's where you can also do some home improvements. So they don't want to see scuffed walls or beat up baseboards. These are things that really scare them. There are other little things like putting the right caulking, making sure all of your light fixtures are updated. These little things can really help, and they show that the house has been well maintained. Absolutely, without question, the overall condition of the home affects the price and the speed of the sale. So spending a little time and spending a little money and having somebody come in there and maybe even doing a home inspection before you put the house on the market might just be the biggest bang for a buck that you can do. Because what a buyer does is they buy with their eyes. They're not looking under the hood of a car. They're looking at what they're seeing when they're standing there. If they see distress in any way, that starts to diminish the value of their home. But if they're looking at a perfectly maintained home, even if it's older, they're going to feel like the seller really valued their home, they really took care of it, and probably everything behind the walls is also in the same condition. And this gives the buyer a confidence about moving forward with a purchase. There's a lot of devil in the details kind of thing going on. There's a lot of little things that you can do to make the house more appealing. Of course, there's some big things like painting and fixing gutters and fixing window treatments and things like that. But I really think that probably the biggest thing is making sure the eaves are looking good, there's no rot on the wood outside, and that the house is painted. That's probably the first step. And if you do that alone, you'll probably improve your value. If you haven't gotten it by now, in my opinion, there's no exceptions. You should not have any rotted wood anywhere in the house. I think that's the number one thing that turns off buyers, is they automatically think there's a problem with the roof, even though it happens in South Florida all the time. If you can get a handyman to come out and work on your eaves and get them cleaned up, and any wood you have around your windowsills or anywhere like that, I think that is a non-negotiable and is something that will go a long way to help you with your house selling. Here's what I want you to take away from this. It's not so much about how much you spend, it's about how smart you spend. The three big things, of course, are kitchen, bathrooms, and curb appeal. You can certainly spend some money on flooring and some other things, and of course the outdoor furniture, outdoor areas, and even some staging will help you. But I really think you can also not blow your budget. Man, we talked about a lot of little things that you can do to make the home feel brighter and fresher and cleaner, and if you just do any of those, I think it will go a long way. If you're thinking about selling and just want somebody to come walk through the house with you, absolutely no pressure. Me and my team would love to walk through and see it from our eyes, because sometimes you need a second set of eyes to see what's going on in the home, and we can advise you as to where to spend your time and where to spend your money for the biggest bang for your buck and to get the house looking ship shape. If this was helpful, make sure you drop us a comment or you subscribe to the channel, and as I always say, I'll see you on the next one.